Welcome to Marth and the Machines for another battle report and some announcements at the end. It would be once more Lady Z trying to tackle one of her toughest matchups, casters with high base armor. To top it off, it's the caster with the highest combined base armor and damage output, the Butcher of Kardov himself. Enjoy. My opponent brought a force that, in a way, made me sweat. 25 points, 3 heavies. The Butcher of Kardov with a Juggernaut and a Berserker, a Destroyer marshaled to a Man of War Kovnik, and the classic minimum Winter Guard with unit detachment. I basically kept my list from last time, simply dropping the Juggernaut, Iris, and exchanging the flamethrowers for Yuri. I had Zerkova, the Destroyer Nikita, the Great Bears of Gallowswood, Minimum Assault Commandos, Grey Lorturnian, the Kodolot, Dragon the Wardog, Harlan Bursch, and Yuri the Axe. I win the role to go first and choose to go second. He simply casts Iron Flesh on the Butcher, who is the only one who does not run. Everyone else does. The Winter Guard split into 2 waves to keep Yuri from thrashing more than 2. In my turn, Yuri advances up to the forest, Harlan Bursch follows him. I was expecting Iron Flesh Winter Guards coming my way bobbing and weaving. Assault Commandos advance, Shield Wall. The Great Bears run towards the hill, from where they'd be able to alpha strike everything that would come on top of the hill. The Kodolot power boosts Nikita. The Jack runs up, Zerkova follows, casts Watcher and a Twister at the Butcher, which deviated to the Marcus position. The Grey Lorturnian moves and casts Blizzards. Top of round 2, the Kovnik advances on the hill and drives the Destroyer. I was astonished to find that it would also boost ranged attacks. That's not so bad then. He fires at the Great Bears, but misses due to the cloud. The Destroyer moves up, fires at them, but the shot drifts off and away. The Berserker runs, the Juggernaut advances. The Butcher moves and casts Fury on the Berserker. The Winter Guard enters the forest, running. Alright, my turn. That Berserker needs to go. I upkeep Watcher. Yuri charges into the forest and kills the 2 guardsmen up front. The Great Bears charge up the hill and whack the Jack, but don't destroy it. It's made in Kardor after all. The Kodolot power boosts Nikita. The Assault Commandos begin by putting small holes into the Berserker with their carbines after shield walling. Then the Turnian moves. The right hand one clouds Yuri, the other 2 frostbite the Berserker for some more damage. Then Harlan Bursch comes around and unloads full 4 boosted shots into the Warjack. It's still standing. I have Nikita charge and do the Rain of Death, but there are still boxes left on that stupid machine. Lady Z moves and casts Force Blast, pushing the Berserker away, and a Razor Wind for minimal damage. In the end, it's Dragon the Wardog who finishes it off with a charge. Imagine the very scene with the dog returning to the caster, a Berserker's leg in his mouth. Out! Bad dog! Drop that immediately! Or, bad dog! Stop burying that Warjack! In round 3, he hogs all focus. That was the point when things went south, or at least west. The Kovnik and Destroyer retaliated, and I can't make tough checks for the life of me, so only 1 bear survives. The Butcher feeds and walks to engage Nikita, triggering Watcher, and I chose to first bounce the Butcher away while moving back to Lady Z. The incurred free strike rips a 20 damage sized hole into Nikita. Ouch! It still beats losing the Warjack completely, even though the Cortex is knocked out. The Winter Guard advances and engages Yuri, and 3 of them can do a combined melee attack, but they miss with Snake Eyes. His Juggernaut simply advances. I retaliate by first charging and killing the Kovnik with their last Great Bear, who puts also a little more damage on the Destroyer. Yuri thrashes, killing all but 1 guardsman within reach. The Sergeant is charged by the Wardog, who returns to Lady Z with a bloody blunderbuss. The rest of my forces comes to pile on the Butcher, but I deal, I think, 1 damage to him from a damage-boosted Razor Wind. Lesser casters would have been killed by now, but against the Butcher the armed 20 Juggernaut is a soft target in comparison. The Turnian freezes the Juggernaut. I hope he'd spend focus to shake it off. This picture is not wholly accurate, because I took it after I already did 2 of my actions. In round 4 he continues to hog focus, charges in, is bulldozed away by Nikita, who eats another less outrageous free strike. The Juggernaut thaws and the Destroyer misses. In my turn, Yuri first off kills the very last guardsman. The The last great beer wrecks the destroyer. Then Zerkova casts a boosted icy grip at the butcher, hitting. The Turnian subsequently freezes him before the assault commandos assault and batter him to no effect. And at this point we call it a day. He would not spend the focus because that would probably have him lose, and I would not let him get to me. So it's a draw, or rather a standoff, because nobody wins. In hindsight, a draw. A most disappointing result, if mainly for the fact that everything went next to right for me and then was stopped by a focus-hogging butcher. I know it's a valid move, but I still feel it somehow sucks. Or rather, I as a player suck for not preparing for this. So let's see what this game taught me about designing Zerkova lists, especially tag all comers. Dropping the Dracoon removed one hard target removal. He still wouldn't have been a big help. Even piling him and all the remaining hard hitters that were left would probably not have caused enough damage to deal with the butcher without eating them afterwards. If the Devastator still would have had his Cortex, I think I would have tried. And this game was one where I wished that I had brought a Spriggan. Both the Devastator and the Spriggan wield a power 18, but the Spriggan can dish out more damage because Rain of Death is only once per turn, and he remains a formidable armor 21 afterwards. Seeing 20 damage dealt to the Devastator was very disheartening, even though it was a crazy roll on a free strike from the Blood Frenzied Butcher, and thus, let's say, a corner case. And the assault commandos, I don't want to discard them completely, but I think Iron Fang Pikemen win them out with Lady Zerkova, due to combined melee attack. I'm not viewing the commandos as bad, they probably always get short-ended by facing a heavy jack or dodgy infantry where they can't shine. Next time I'll simply bring the pikemen with the UA and see how that goes. Oh, and no matter which unit, I'll always have Iris around, for those that thinking tanking focus will save them. Or I should just insist on rolling for scenario. Had we played, for example, No Man's Land, the Butcher would have easily found himself bounced out of the control zone. I will show you my refined 25-35 points Lady Zerkova list at the end. And this will be everything for now. Farewell. Announcements. Well, with the 20th installment coming up, I think I could just go ahead and talk a little bit about things that I want to do on Marth and the Machines. First up, more battle reports, but I'll try to roughen up the concept by doing alternative or special report styles, and also report on battles between others. To do so, I plan on trying different things with the third-party characters on the board. One, something celebrity deathmatch style. It was actually Ari's idea, but we'll be doing it every now and then. Another thing which I want to do will have less intentional hilarity and a little more story, and I call it Band of Campers. In my eyes, a battle report is similar to a drama play, and many things that work there could also work here, so I'll be trying them out. Besides battles, there will also be reports on my painting progress. Despite what all reports up to now have shown, I actually can paint. I do have a fully painted Dark Angels company, and once our campaign picks up, which I will be participating in as the organizer, I'll have time to paint. That's why the following battle reports will most likely be Brother-in-Arms ones. Also, and it will already be in the next installment, I'm planning on picking up some rules that repeatedly cause distress, fear and self-hate within players, and elaborate on those. The real things, like line of sight, cavalry, formation, which have players too often shaken in their boots. This will be called Rules Tolerating Frequent Misapplication, or RTFM for short. Pun intended. And maybe, just maybe, because I'd need the others' permission, I'd like to do one issue solely on the guys that regularly play Warmachine at our friendly local game store. At any rate, there's stuff coming up. So until next time, farewell.